Hey there, fellow history enthusiasts. Welcome back to our channel, where we dive deep into fascinating historical accounts and unravel the mysteries of the past. Our adventure takes us back thousands and thousands of years ago, when the world was a very different place. Our key to unlocking this ancient puzzle lies in a textbook. NCERT History Class 6 Chapter 2, On the Trail of the Earliest People. Let's get started. The earliest people, why were they on the move? We know about people who lived in the subcontinent as early as 2 million years ago. Today, we describe them as hunter-gatherers. The name comes from the way in which they got their food. Generally, they hunted wild animals, caught fish and birds, gathered fruits, roots, nuts, seeds, leaves, stalks, and eggs. The immense variety of plants in a tropical land like ours meant that gathering plant produce was an extremely important means of obtaining food. None of these things was easy to do. There are several animals that run faster than us, many that are stronger. To hunt animals or catch fish and birds, people need to be alert, quick, and have lots of presence of mind. To collect plant produce, you need to find out which plants or parts of plants are edible and can be eaten, as many can be poisonous. You also need to find out about the seasons when the fruits ripen. There are at least 4 reasons why hunter-gatherers moved from place to place. First, if they had stayed in one place for a long time, they would have eaten up the available plant-animal resources. Therefore, they would have had to go elsewhere in search of food. Animals move from place to place, either in search of smaller prey or, in the case of deer, wild cattle, in search of grass leaves. That is why those who hunted them had to follow their movements. Third, plants and trees bear fruit in different seasons. So, people may have moved from season to season in search of different kinds of plants. Fourth, people, plants, and animals need water to survive. Water is found in lakes, streams, and rivers. While many rivers and lakes are perennial, with water throughout the year, others are seasonal. People living on their banks would have had to go in search of water during the dry seasons, winter and summer. Besides, people may have traveled to meet their friends and relatives. Remember, they traveled on foot. How do we know about these people? Archaeologists have found some of the things hunter-gatherers made and used. It is likely that people made and used tools of stone, wood, and bone, of which stone tools have survived best. Some of these stone tools were used to cut meat and bone, scrape bark from trees, and hide animal skins, chop fruit and roots. Some may have been attached to handles of bone or wood, to make spears and arrows for hunting. Other tools were used to chop wood, which was used as firewood. Wood was also used to make huts and tools. Choosing a place to live in. Archaeologists have found evidence of hunter-gatherers. Many sites were located near sources of water, such as rivers and lakes. As stone tools were important, people tried to find places where good quality stone was easily available. Places where stone was found and where people made tools are known as factory sites. How do we know where these factories were? Usually, we find blocks of stone and tools that were made and perhaps discarded because they were not perfect, and chips of waste stone left behind at these sites. Sometimes, people lived here for longer spells of time. These sites are called habitation-cum-factory sites. Making stone tools. Stone tools were probably made using 2 different techniques. 1. The first is called stone on stone. Here, the pebble from which the tool was to be made, also called the core, was held in one hand. Another stone, which was used as a hammer, was held in the other hand. The second stone was used to strike off flakes from the first, till the shape was obtained. Pressure flaking. Here the core was placed on a firm surface. The hammer stone was used on a piece of bone or stone that was placed on the core to remove flakes that could be shaped into tools. Finding out about the fire. Traces of ash have been found here. This suggests that people were familiar with the use of fire. Fire could have been used for many things, as a source of light, to roast meat, to scare away animals. What do we use fire for today? A changing environment. Around 12,000 years ago, there were major changes in the climate of the world, with a shift to relatively warm conditions. In many areas, this led to the development of grasslands, led to an increase in the number of deer, antelope, goats, sheep, and cattle, i.e., animals that survive on grass. Those who hunted these animals now followed them, learning about their food habits and their breeding seasons. It is likely that this helped people to start thinking about herding and rearing these animals themselves. Fishing also became important. This was also a time when several grain-bearing grasses, including wheat, barley, and rice, grew naturally in different parts of the subcontinent. Men, women, and children probably collected these grains as food and learned where they grew and when they ripened. This may have led them to think about growing plants on their own. Names and dates. Archaeologists have given lengthy names we are studying. They call the earliest period the Paleolithic. This comes from two Greek words, paleo, meaning old, and lithos, meaning stone. The name points to the importance of finds of stone tools. The Paleolithic period extends from 2 million years ago to about 12,000 years ago. This long stretch of time is divided into the lower, middle, and upper Paleolithic. This long span of time covers 99% of human history. The period when we find environmental changes, beginning about 12,000 years ago till about 10,000 years ago, is called the Mesolithic, middle. Stone. Stone tools found during this period are generally tiny and are called microliths. Microliths were probably stuck onto handles of bone or wood to make tools such as saws and sickles. At the same time, older varieties of tools continued to be in use. The next stage, from about 10,000 years ago, is known as the Neolithic. You will be learning about the Neolithic in Chapter 3. Very often, we use present-day names of the places where people lived in the past because we do not know what they call them. Rock paintings and many of the caves in which these early people lived have paintings on the walls. Some of the best examples are from Madhya Pradesh and southern Uttar Pradesh. These paintings show wild animals, drawn with great accuracy and skill. Who did what? We have seen that the earliest people hunted, gathered plant-produced made stone tools, and painted on cave walls. At present, we do not really know. However, there are at least two possibilities. It is likely that both men and women may have done many of these things together. It is also possible that some tasks were done only by women and others only by men. Ostriches in India. Ostriches were found in India during the Paleolithic. Large quantities of ostrich eggshells were found at Patna in Maharashtra. Hunski. A number of early Paleolithic sites were found here. At some sites, a large number of tools, used for all sorts of activities, were found. These were probably habitation-cum-factory sites. In some of the others, smaller sites, there is evidence to suggest that tools were made. Most tools were made from limestone, which was locally available. Thanks for joining me on this thrilling adventure through NCERT History Class 6 Chapter 2, on the trail of the earliest people. If you enjoyed this video and want to keep exploring historical wonders, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Until our next adventure,